What is up, everyone? This is Tico here, also known as Richard. We're going to play another game of the French now, just focusing on a series. It's going to be the first basic 4 videos explaining the different ages of French and understanding, what every age is, what is the important things to focus on, how to manage your villagers and your army, and just deep dive into it, but make it into a bit shorter videos so you know what to expect and just go back to it when you need to. If you're setting up a game and you see what I'm seeing right now, to get here, I'm just going to leave game. This is your channel or your profile, right? So you can close that, but I am on the home screen now, and I'm clicking on multiplayer, I'm clicking custom, then I'm clicking create game. So that's how you can create your custom own games, your own scenarios. You can change what map by clicking here, then you can choose a map. I like training on the mountain pass because you usually just have one area to defend from. You know exactly where the enemy is going to come from. And then you can choose the map size here. The location can be randomized or teams together if you're playing with someone. And a map seed is just a serial number that gets allocated to a map. If you like a specific map or the mountain layout, you can use that seed that you can find in your match history. And just post it in here when you're creating a new game, and you'll get the exact same map every single time if you want to practice like that. The maps are randomly generated when you're playing versus different players and so on, but that is something if you want to just have predictable scenarios so you can train a specific faction. I'm focusing on the French right now, so you can choose the teams here. It will automatically, make your team 1 and the next team 2, and you'll fight against each other when you have it on auto. But for this sake, we'll just make sure like that's going to be friends, but we'll make it team 2. So now I'm playing versus the English, and we'll make it easy just so we can go through those early steps, what you need to do when you're playing as the French. So standard resources, nothing special there. Make sure you are on age 1, otherwise you won't be able to build the landmarks. And keep this concealed so you get a real experience of what you get when you're playing against the enemy. And I like keeping this private by having this lock on, so nobody's in viewing your games or like hopping in to spectate you or something. They can do that from the custom menu. You can have a password to protect it as well, but don't worry too much about that right now. Just make sure that you have your map selected. Make sure you're on standard, age 1, and concealed. Tuning packs or anything like that, don't worry about that. We are playing versus the easy AI, but you can make sure all of these are selected. So you have 3 win conditions. Killing all of the landmarks. We'll explain them a little bit per video. And the sacred sites, which is holy sites that you can capture with monks um, or from your holy buildings. I'll tell you, every faction has a different name for them, but you can train them, or you can build a wonder, a really expensive single building that you have to defend for 14 minutes, and you can win with each one of those different scenarios. The most probable one that you'll have in most games will be defending sacred sites, and the most likely is destroying all the enemy landmarks. So let's hop into this easy game and just show you the quick build order of what to expect in the beginning of the game, and what's the best things for you to do and why all those things are where they are. If you're very new to the game, this is something that you can pause the video, go back, rewind, so you can just see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so we loaded in, immediately we started. So you can see you have a scout, you have 6 villagers, and you have a town center. So the nice thing to do is you select your 6 villagers, right? You can see now these sheep are in range of my scout, so they're automatically binding to my scout. So if I run away right now, these sheep are following me, but not this one, because they're not bound to the scout, they're actually bound to the building. If I right click on the building now, they will slowly start moving to the building. You can speed them up, but if you just right click close to the building, they will move there. Now, control is used and shift is used to make it easier for you to manage your game. So as a standard start, this is what I'll usually do. You take your 6 villagers, you right click on the first sheep, you click on the town center, press Control 2 to bind it to 2. I usually take the scout and run then around to get those first 2 sheep. I press Control 1. Now it's bound to 1, so if I press 2 or 1 on my keyboard, I automatically select those buildings. Now I right click on the second sheep and I train my first 4 or 5 villagers, so they will automatically go to the sheep, right? The second thing you need to do is you're going to hit a population cap. So you have a limited amount of population for your faction. So I'm going to move this right clicking. I click on the town center or press 2. Now I'm right clicking there. You see it's a yellow flag. I select the villager. You can click on the house and build it, or you can select the villager, press Q. It will select this window. You press Q again. It will select the house, and then you can build that house. It will automatically do it. I stopped them because I just wanted to show you guys. Now the second villager is going out. I'm pressing Q again. I'm pressing R because that's the key there. Or you can just click the mining camp and you can build a mining camp. As soon as this villager is done, you will see he will actually just continue to go for this building um, because he's in a building. They will keep doing the thing that they are doing until that is not available in the vicinity. You see, like now, that villager came out before I clicked on the sheep, so now he's just randomly standing there. So he will show up as an idle villager. I have one idle villager, and if I click on him, now I can move him around to do something. So I have 2 on gold. That's enough for the early game. You can see those first 4 villagers is trained and I have some food. Now I'm training another 5 villagers, so you can keep enough villagers in production. And I'm moving this villager over to wood. So you just need 1 or 2 villagers on wood. You can even right click on the tree, make sure about the blue flag. You can also press Alt and hold and move your mouse left or right if you want to turn your screen if you can't really see what's happening. But you can see we haven't really moved with the scout at all, just because we're showing you the standard build order. They're farming food. There we have 2 on wood. Now I'm going to move the next villagers over to my berries. That's also a really nice early source of food. It's a very safe source of food. I select the villager, I press Q, I press E, or you can just click the lumber camp, the mill, not the lumber camp, because that's for wood. That's this one here. That's the mining camp, and that's the mill. That's your 3 economy buildings, so they don't have to carry all the resources to the town center. You can see we're on 15 villagers now. We have those few producing, and we have exactly 200 gold now, which is what you were aiming for with those 2 villagers. And very shortly, we have 400 food. So these villagers, I drop off the food, so I right click the building. If you right click twice, they will actually go into the building. If you want to get them out, you just select the building, and you right click where you need to be, then you can press F, and they will move out of the building to the marker. If they were on food, right, you can see I'm clicking on the food again, so they are connected to food. But now, okay, let's click on the food, right? So now I'm garrisoning the all in there if somebody's attacking me. If you press G, they will automatically go back to the food, right? So that marker is on the food. That's supposed to go out. Oh, that's a rally point. My apology. D is the one that they need to go back to do what they were doing before. See there, they come out and immediately. Sorry, it wasn't G. It was D. I'm intermediate. I'm still learning. So now let's use some of these villagers. This is a lot to have on food early. It's not necessarily a good thing. Remember, my scout is just standing around, not doing anything. Now I have an idle villager. It's good to be more on gold. So the perfect scenario in the beginning with the villagers, you can see I'm not training any villagers right now. I just want to show you what to expect. Take your villagers. Usually 4 is a standard time frame to build a landmark. The landmark is what produces you to a different age. So I'm drawing a little box here to select villagers. You can select single villagers, hold shift to select individual villagers if you're struggling with the little box. But I'm moving them over. Let's drop off the food. And now if you see this little building, there we're on age 1, and the sound that you heard earlier means you have enough resources to produce a land age 2 landmark. You can see advanced to the feudal age. So I'm clicking on that, or you can press T, and each faction will have 4 ages specifically, age 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 um, landmarks. You can see it says age 2 economic landmark, military landmark. You can have a holy landmark as well, depending on the different factions. But for French, going to the feudal age, there's 2. Markets, necessarily, that's really nice if you are safe, so you can experiment for that, but most of the time, the School of Cavalry is going to be your preferred building. So I'm clicking, left clicking, so they can actually build, and now I can start training more villagers. I'm pressing Q. You can press Shift and Q as well, and it will automatically put 4 or 5 villagers in queue. Now you can see here some scouts running around on my side. No military. Against easy, this is not a problem. You'll see my scout will stop chasing that scout after it goes a certain range, out of where he was standing. So he was positioned there and then he stopped chasing. So they're building the landmark. You can see the units here are farming wood. We do have some wood. We're almost at population cap again because we're training villagers. That flag is a yellow flag. So just make sure when your town center is selected, remember you can press 2 or 1 to change from your scout or your town center. You can also press H and it will center on your town center. So no matter where you are on the map, if you press H, you can automatically quickly jump back to your town center without struggling, and it will select it. So now let's take these 2 villagers that's been going there to gather food. You just drop off the food. Let's build another house. And a good practice is to make sure your first few buildings are within this ring, and that's the safety ring for your town center that will actually defend. It has some form of attack. You can see there's 8 bow attack. So anything that's in this vicinity, an enemy, it will get attacked by the town center. Now we are age 2. There's 4 villagers. We can move them back to gold. So we need more gold to obviously go to age 3. But that was just to explain what to do in the early age. A build order is to get your first 6 villagers onto sheep, get 2 onto gold, and about 7 villagers in total with those few after you build the house. With the first villager that come out of the town center, he builds the house. The second one comes out, he goes to gold, and those 2 villagers combined will be on gold. So that's 2 plus 6 on the sheep, and your scout is collecting the sheep, and then 1 on the wood to make sure you don't run out of wood. If you do that in the early game, that's a perfect start for your French civilization, so you can get to that second age. Thank you guys, and come back for the second video where we will explain how to defend yourself and how to actually start progressing to the castle age, and how to make what you can use to defend yourself or attack in this age, because French is really strong in the feudal age, and you can actually finish the game in this age if you learn how to play them correctly. But thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you back on the second video of this series.